Hi, everybody. This is Karen. Oops. I'm with Spiritual Intuitions, and I'm glad that you chose to click on my channel today. You have to forgive me. I'm not exactly set up for filming. That's why I haven't been doing it consistently. So just bear with me throughout. I hopefully will get a lot more consistent, have a better setup down the line. But for right now, I wanted to deliver this message to you. I already pulled some cards, and the reason I did that and prayed, but the reason I did that was because I wanted to do some research on the chakra. So I pulled the chakra as the main focus of the reading, what we're dealing with, and it turned out to be the crown chakra. And so I wanted to look that up, and what it says is what happens when your crown chakra is out of balance. Blockages in the crown emotionally manifest in the form of lack of purpose, feeling disconnected from oneself and the world, confusion, distraction, lack of focus, feelings of isolation, depression, or existential crisis, inability to let go of certain attachments or limiting beliefs and emotional blockages. Well, yeah, so those are some of the indicators that your crown may be blocked. If you're experiencing any of those things, I would recommend something that I just started doing based on the recommendation of another reader on YouTube. She's awesome. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but it's basically writing down a declaration on paper to release whatever the negative issue is. So, for example, if it's depression, I release all forms of depression from a physical, mental, emotional level, and in spirit and in body, and I declare, that none of that energy, no, that's not it. Let me see how I would write it. If I were dealing with depression, I'd say, Dear Mother, Father, God, I declare and decree all negative energies and energies being coming from within or without me regarding depression be released, be destroyed, be eliminated from my experience, from my spirit, from my body, from my mind, in divine right order. And throughout space-time continuum to the divine now, I release all of this to you, God. Thank you very much. Angels, guides, whoever's responsible for taking this stuff and dealing with it, thank you very much. And let it go. Something to that effect is what you want to do. I have to bring one that I wrote down. It sounds much more cohesive, and if you ask Spirit to let you know exactly how you should write it, your declaration, it will be much more effective. And now I know that the issue is that you're having issues connecting with your spirit guide. So what you want to do is to release any and everything that's getting in the way of that. And then that your crown chakra, so that your crown chakra can be in perfect balance. It could be moving, which reminds me and brings me to the next thing that I want to discuss. I pulled a rune regarding the crown chakra, and it was Isa. Isa deals with frozen, solidified states of being, like ice, hail. And it's a relatively negative rune. It's pretty static in terms of there's not a lot of energy because everything is locked down and frozen and solid. So when I pair that with the crown chakra, all of your chakras should be flowing. They should be rotating. They're actually energy wheels, according to Sanskrit information, ancient information. Your chakras are energy centers that are in motion constantly, and they need to be in balance. So when one center becomes stagnant or slows down or becomes basically relatively still, that's not a good thing. So we want to do some exercises and some things to allow the energy to flow through. And my biggest recommendation would be yoga. And yoga to do with anything like headstands or downward dog, to get the blood flowing to the crown, to get the energy flowing to the crown, from the feet to the crown. You want to turn yourself basically upside down so that that energy can begin to flow again. So yoga's something you could do. Another thing is meditation. Anything that's introspective and quiet would be a good exercise, even if it's just you walking in the park, visiting a lake, watching the ducks, anything like that would help you to be in a contemplative mood. That's where you want to be. So another way and thing that I do is when I do go into nature, I always ask for permission before I enter a nature, say a park. When I'm entering, I'll ask permission and of the guardians of the park, of the spirit guardians, to enter the park, and I ask that they work with me in terms of what it is I'm going to do there. So maybe I'll burn my declaration in the park, and I did that a couple of days ago, and I had an amazing, magical experience. But it was all in how I approached it. So I wrote some declarations down because I thought it was a really good idea what I had got from this other YouTube person, and I wrote them down. I used one of my crystals. I put one of my crystals on top of the declarations that night and said, I want you. Well, I asked the crystal if it would help me in releasing these declarations to spirit to work through. And it said yes. So I put the crystal on top of the declarations. That next day I got up. I put the crystals not the crystals, but the declarations into an envelope because I was guided to do that. And I took them to the park. I asked for permission to enter and for assistance with the guardians in the park to protect me and be with me while I was there. I went to a table that had a grill where I could burn the affirmations, and I put my stuff down. I took my shoes off, and I stood on the ground and I grounded myself. I just let myself stand there and get grounded before I started anything. I think I did a tree pose, a yoga tree pose, which is standing on one leg. But you don't have to. You could just ground. Because I wanted to be fully present and aware of what was going on before I proceeded. Then I called in my allies to help me to release the stuff that I was about to burn. Then I burned it. I gave thanks to everyone that I called in, and to God, and to the people that I deal with spiritually. I gave thanks, and it was over. Now, when it was over, it was very interesting because I had been getting this inclination to go to pour libation when I was in the park, but I kept ignoring it. I got the inclination when I was at home to take a bottle of water and pour libation. I didn't. I got to the park, and when I was grounding, I saw this water scooting up from, it looked like a sprinkler, but it was only one area that had this one stream of water squirting up. And as I did my tree pose, I looked at it. I thought about getting a bottle and pouring libation. I ignored it. I continued to ground and do my tree pose. And when I looked back, it had stopped. After I did the burning of the declarations and decrees, I looked around and I walked toward a tree, and I saw a lizard on the tree, and I kind of said hi to the lizard and played with it, and it was kind of scared of me. Then I saw a baby lizard on the same tree, and I touched the tree, and as I touched the tree, I looked over and I saw another tree that had a plastic bottle of water sitting right there. No one was around. There was just a plastic bottle of water sitting in front of this tree. And at that point, I knew that that water was for me to pour the libation. It was the third time. And it was like, okay, Spirit was like, okay, you're not going to listen to me. I'm going to prove to you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to put it in front of your face, girl. And so I went over to the tree and I took the bottle. I looked around. There was nobody there. There was a half a bottle of water. I got on my knees. I poured libation. I did my thing. I got up. And as I got up, at my chest level on the tree, there was a shoot. It was a pine tree. There was a shoot sticking out with fresh pine needles all over it. It was beautiful. And I had been wanting to get some pine needles for my altar, but the pine needles on the pine trees were all too high. Well, this one happened to be just at my chest, and I was like, oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I asked if it was okay, permission from the tree to take it. It said yes. I took it home and I put it on my altar. That was a totally magical experience for me. And I have no doubt that Spirit is like the more I acknowledge Spirit, the more I ask for assistance, the more different, very ways I can begin to ask for assistance, the more Spirit is going to show me the path and affirm what it is that I'm doing. So I was just thrilled. So just wanted to share that story with you. Now, the next card I pulled is Remember Who You Are. Remember who you are, Archangel Michael. You are a powerful, loving, and creative child of God. You are very loved. Now, affirmations like this, not declarations like what you're trying to get rid of. Now, you can declare positive things too, but the declarations and decrees that I did were to banish. Oh, and there was something else. When I wrote on the piece of paper whatever it was I wanted to banish, I would fold it away from me, not toward me, so that it would be released. When you want something to come to you, when you write a declaration or proclamation or whatever you call it, that you want to come to you, like say, for example, money, right? I am a money magnet. I want, X amount of money or whatever you write. Fold it towards you because you want that to come to you. When you want to release, you fold away. Just a point of information. Okay, and it says, so I'm powerful, loving, creative child of God. We could write these affirmations onto our candles for our altar work. If you do candle work, you can literally, if you have a religious candle, one of the glass candles, you could get the candle that's associated with the color that you're working with or the chakra that you're working with. Like right now, I have an orange one going for my sacral chakra. But for the crown chakra, you can get one and write this affirmation down on the candle, and any other affirmation that you want or that Spirit leads you to write in terms of connection and getting your chakra to be in balance. What's coming to me is a lot of times I'll do readings with, I'm not sure what deck it is. I think it's an angel deck, and it says, ask Metatron to help with clearing and balancing of your chakras with sacred geometry. Now, I don't know if you work with Metatron or not, but whoever you work with, you can ask. And the thing is that the more we focus our attention on the 5D, on our angels, on our guides, on Spirit, the more that we focus on Mother Earth and helping her, the more that we focus on our bodies, our temples, and helping us to raise our vibration so that we could be more in alignment with spirit. Spirit's going to be more in alignment with you. The less we do that, the less aligned we are. And it's not that there's something wrong with being out of alignment. It's a process because you go in and out of alignment. So don't think it's a bad thing if you're out. It's just that you have to keep putting yourself back in. You have to keep course correcting. Just like a plane, it doesn't fly from point A to point Z in a straight line. No, it sets a course in a straight line, but it varies slightly, in and out and in and out and in and out, and constantly getting back onto the target to get to the destination. It's never just a straight line. And that's the same way we are. Spiritually, we set a course for higher vibration. We set a course for enlightenment. We set a course for evolution of the senses and the spirit, right? But does that mean that we're there? No, it means we're in process. And in process, you have to make adjustments. You will have failure sometimes, and you have to get back up even and keep going. What happens is when you fail and you don't get back up, you don't put yourself back in balance, you don't do something or seek something to get you back on track, that's when it's not a good thing. That's when you get stuck and frozen like Esau. And what starts to happen is you start generating sicknesses. You start generating ways of thinking that are not healthy. Okay, mental illnesses. You start generating negative things, and as you're out of balance and you start doing, the more out of balance you are, the more susceptible you are to do things to throw you more out of balance. This is something that we need to be aware of. We know what our weaknesses are. We know what our Achilles heels are. So when we see ourselves going in a direction that is not healthy, is not going to help us to get where we need to go, we need to course correct, and we need to course correct ASAP. And we need to start course correcting in as many different creative ways as possible. For example, going to the gym could be a course correct for some of us, and as you're at the gym and as you're working out, you could be visualizing. I used to go to the gym and I used to play Nelly's I'm Number One. And it would really be a great confidence booster for me. Number one. And I loved being on the treadmill and listening to that. It was really course correcting for me. And so I don't know what it is for you, but find something, find what works for you and do that, because you won't regret it. It'll only help you to traverse this 3D in a much more faster and easier way. Not that there won't be roadblocks, not that there won't be hell to pay, because on this path of evolution, on this path of transformation, that's what it takes. It takes us being willing to face the fire. It takes us being willing to have the failures, to get out of balance, so that we can notice it and get back in balance, so that we could teach others, so that we could help our children, so that we could leave a legacy of what direction we're going. North Star, not south. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you. The last card that I pulled, it says, and it's also a crown chakra, and I didn't pull any crown chakra on purpose. This is the Om sign. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but it's here. It's the Om, which is the sound for the crown chakra, Om. And it says, I am connected to my true path and purpose. Life's struggles only make me stronger. And so that is what I just finished talking to you about, the struggles. The reason we have the karmics in our lives, the reason we have the liars, the cheaters, the molesters, the wrongdoers, in any which way you want to have it, is so that we can get stronger and understand, how to best navigate those things and how to best support others in navigating those things so that we can create a world that is better than the world that we were born into, so that we could leave the world a better place, so that we could leave our children with higher goals and vistas to look toward. You know, what we don't conquer while we're in the 3D, those of us with children, it's left to our children to conquer. What we don't handle, what we don't manage, is going to be passed on to your children. The sins of the father are revisited upon the son. You know, that's how they have it in the Bible, but it's not about gender. It's about, hey, handle as much as you can. Transfer and transform as much as you can in your life so that you make a way for generations to come, and for your children, for their children, and their children's children, and a space that is better than the one you came into. So with that, I think I'm going to close out. I'd like to thank you for checking in with me. Please click like and subscribe and share. Have a great day, y'all. Bye.